One thing is for sure, to create new varieties takes a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of persistence. For that reason, it's important that we can provide with an administration which is simple. By one application, you get the protection in 28 members at once, and you can use the language of your choice in this procedure. In addition, the breeders, they get the protection, meaning that they have a right, exclusive right, to commercialize the variety during a certain period. That allows the breeders to get an investment of the return of their creative work.
20 years ago, in 1994, Community Plant Variety Office was established in the main reason to protect rights of plant breeders. And of course to protect intellectual rights.
If you imagine that over 20 years ago, in order to have a variety protected throughout the European Union, it was necessary to file applications in all the individual states. The benefits of having a single application system are enormous, and breeders have really benefited from that.
I think that this is actually quite unique. There are not many agencies in Europe which are completely self-financing.
We have gone from a small agency to have created the largest system in the world protecting plant variety rights.
The CPVO came operational on the 16th of June 1995. At that moment there was no president appointed. On the other hand, the Administrative Council of the CPVO was operational since September 94 due to the entry into force of the Basic Regulation. This Administrative Council appointed Mr. Van Eilen, an official of the Belgian Ministry of Agriculture, as a mandataire. Finally, on the 16th of June, a small team of 6 persons started the CPVO. When we opened on that day our offices, these were completely empty. There were no desks, no computers. On the other hand, we had already several hundreds of applications waiting to be processed. In the first 6 months of the office, we received more than 3,000 applications, so this was a huge challenge.
When Mr. Kiewit was nominated as first president of the CPVO, there were still 7 candidate cities for the seat of the office. A few months later, we knew we would come in Angers.
We moved into a provisional location on the Plateau du Maine, awaiting a definitive building in '99, and we moved into these buildings, placed in the Boulevard Foch in the center of the town in the course of the year 2000.
I'm responsible for running an office of 45 persons from 12 EU member states to ensure that they are working together to provide service to our clients, to the breeders, to stakeholders, to the citizens of the European Union.
Administrative Council is the management board of CPVO as an EU agency. So its main task is to give CPVO strategic direction and to take responsibility for decisions on finance and governance.
Then examining the management report of the president, the entrustment of the examination offices, and then validating the technical protocols, is responsible for discharging the president on the implementation of the budget and granting the compulsory licenses.
All the member states can have at least one representative in that body, but some of the member states have additional experts in that body, and there are as well the Commission, the European Commission, and of course the office itself.
We also have observers from the 3 main breeders' organisations. It's essential that the breeders have a good voice in the Administrative Council.
In the office we are organized in 3 units, the technical unit, the legal unit and the administration unit, which includes also IT.
The administration unit of the CPVO has 15 staff. It's a very broad range of work, so we're divided up into a number of sectors. We have, on one side, we have the accounting and treasury sector, so they deal with the day-to-day payments and receipts. They also deal with the annual accounts, the preparation of the budget. We have staff within that same sector dealing with relations with the examination offices from a financial perspective, but also with clients. We have the IT sector. This is a small group of staff that take care of the infrastructure in the office. They also take care of the developments. So we have a lot of applications for day-to-day work, such as PVR, Plant Variety Rights application. They also take care of the future developments. So we have a lot of work ongoing for IT in the future. The main fees are set by a proposition given to the Administrative Council that is managed afterwards by the European Commission to update the fees regulation. After the application fee comes the examination fee. So if there is no report available for a specific variety, we then have to outsource to the examination offices, so we set up an examination. That's quite a big fee within the office. We also have the annual fee, so once the title has been granted to the applicant, they then begin paying an annual fee to maintain that title. The maintenance of titles can be anywhere from 25 to 30 years, depending on the particular variety.
So the main task of the legal unit is to assist the office in legal proceedings, either during the grant of the community plan variety right and after the grant, where we can face with the nullity and cancellation proceeding. And the decision of the office can be appealed before the Board of Appeal of the office. We assist as a party in the proceedings, and we defend the decisions taken by the office.
So we now have 25 members, either legally or technically qualified members. First of all, they come before a selection committee from the CPVO, and when the application is successful, they will be appointed by the Administrative Council, also for a term of 5 years. Now, once there is a case coming up before the board, I must invite 2 members of this list and study the case together and come to a conclusion together. Once the Board of Appeal has taken a decision, the appellant can lodge a further appeal with the General Court, and if necessary, he can even lodge a further appeal to the European Court of Justice.
The technical unit is in charge of all technical aspects of the community system. The technical unit is comprised of 18 staff members today. In general, this covers 3 main sectors. The first sector is the register. The register is in charge of receiving applications and maintaining the official registers of the office, as well as for the publication of our official publications.
So the registry is in receipt of all applications. The great majority of them arrive online, so that's 80%. The registry gives them an application number and an arrival date.
Electronic filing gives it goes quicker. You get immediately an application date, especially for the deadline, the novelty varieties which you still have to apply. It was for us very important that this could be done, especially as our profession is representing the breeders and doing applications.
Secondly, the variety denomination sector, which is in charge of examining proposed variety denominations.
Community plant variety rights may be granted for varieties which are DOS and have a valid denomination. The main 2 criteria for non-suitability are similarity and confusions.
The CPVO Variety Finder is a project initiated by the CPVO in 2004 with the aim to allow users testing their denominations for similarity. So we started centralizing information, collecting data from EU member states and gathering them in a centralized database available on the web.
And finally, the crop experts and their relevant assistants, which are in charge of accompanying the incoming applications from the arrival until the preparation of the final decision. They are assuring the relation with the applicant during the course of the procedure, but also the relation with the examination officers, which are in charge of the technical examination of the candidate varieties.
I've worked in all 4 crop sectors. But now, with the increase in workload, I specialize particularly in the vegetable sector. So the vegetable sector is the 3rd largest sector, but over the years it's increased its share of the overall number of applications. And now the way the sector is organized, it's somewhat similar to the agricultural sector, in that the applicants normally have to apply for national listing first, so that the varieties can be commercialized. And what the applicants normally do is they apply first for listing and then they apply for plant breeders' rights.
My activities are more focused in the ornamental sector, flowering, foliage plant, cut flower, trees, bulbs. For instance, the DOS testing is mainly centralized, which means that some crops are tested in only 1 examination offices at the European level. For example, all the orchids applications are tested in Netherlands, all Buddleia in France. Another aspect of this sector is that the majority of the variety are vegetatively propagated. Therefore, the added value of the plant breeders' right is very important in order to protect the innovation and the breeding work, which could otherwise easily be infringed. One other very important particularities of this crop sector is a huge number of different species. So far, the office protected more than 1,900 different botanical taxons. However, every week we receive applications for species which have never been tested in our system.
The CPVO has not created its own technical infrastructure. The system is very much based on the existing technical facilities in the member states. The office cooperates with 30 national examination offices.
I'm in charge of the CPVO Quality Audit Service, a service that has been created in 2010 in order to give to the examination officers an opportunity to demonstrate their competence. The output of the audit program is an audit report confirming examination officers' competence, a report which is taken by the CPVO Administrative Council to entrust an examination office and to give examination officers the possibility that test results are used for granting protection titles.
The most important improvement of the CPVR system is the introduction of the quality assurance system some years ago. It's the only system in the world where we have a quality assurance system, which is very important. So we have identified quality assurance requirements to which examination officers have to comply with to safeguard the quality of plant breeders' rights.
For CPVO we have tested more than 250 species. And the major species are, for example, Phalaenopsis, lettuce, tomato, where we have more than 100 applications every year, but also lily, potato, gerbera are big crops for us.
Main service and the core service for the CPVO is to carry out the DOS test on behalf of the CPVO, on request of the CPVO for species in the ornamental and fruit sector.
So to be granted a community plant breeders' rights, a variety should comply with the DUS criteria. DUS meaning that the variety should be distinct, uniform and stable. So distinct, it means that the candidate variety has to be distinct from any variety of common knowledge at the time of the filling of the application. Uniformity, meaning that the variety should be uniform in its relevant characteristics. And stable, it means that the variety should remain the same in time.
In the technical examination, we look on different characteristics like the flower size or the color, the distribution of colors. We observe characteristics on the leaves.
Experts of GEVES also participate intensely to the technical working groups, and we are also involved in different R&D programs which are financed by CPVO.
We are
in constant contact with the CPVO because we represent one part of its clients. In this case, those that list varieties for protection with the CPVO as far as agricultural and vegetable species are concerned. Our actual exchange with the CPVO is both technical and, of course, always important financial, but also then political. So technical as far as protocols are concerned, then of course financial, what actually needs to be paid to do these kind of examinations and to maintain protection over a certain period of time. And then, of course, in the end, political, so that is indeed the scope of activity of the CPVO of today and obviously tomorrow.
CPORA is the International Association of Breeders of Asexually Reproduced Ornamentals and Fruit, and we represent these breeders in all questions of intellectual property protection. CPORA is very pleased to have a very good relationship and a very close relationship to the CPVO. The CPVO had major influence on the growth by professionally establishing the system and consolidating it, and has successfully implemented an electronic application system, which also has the potential to be a model for many countries outside the EU. Another major achievement is the entrustment system and the quality control for the US examinations.
Plantum represents the seed sector in the Netherlands in all kinds of ways. So the whole sector of planting materials, including seeds, potatoes, vegetative, ornamental plants, the whole sector. The community system facilitates, streamlines the whole plant breeders' rights system in Europe, which is very, very important. It gives legal certainty across borders within the European Union, and it also reduces costs of the system, which is of course also important for our members.
Intellectual property and so plant breeders' rights are the basement of all our activities and our company. Without, we wouldn't be there.
The biggest part, of course, is the development of new varieties in the species. We need a lot of research work. We can say basic research, research on quality aspect, oil content questions, pre-breeding programs.
There has some evolution that we apply almost all candidates today, and in the past it was less. We started to apply before commercialization, which is very important to get plant breeders' rights. I think first of all it's cheaper. We have plant variety protection all over in Europe in all 28 member states. It's a very powerful system for getting plant breeders' rights all over Europe.
We spend a lot of money in innovation, more than 15% per year, and it is a way to protect our innovation. It's a certainty to have a return of investments in our R&D costs.
When I got a variety to apply for plant breeders' rights in the Netherlands, I had to do it at the same time in 7 or 8 other countries. So that cost a lot of work, a lot of money. Yeah, it's fantastic.
The importance of the CPVO is also that we have gathered a lot of experience in 20 years in protecting plant varieties. This experience we can share with other regional systems in the world, such as the organization in Africa, OAPI, who have recently become member of UPOV, and other organizations outside the EU where we can share our experience in this field.
UPOV is the international organization for protection of new plant varieties, and provides and promotes an effective system for granting plant breeders' rights.
The UPOV system really relies on bringing expertise from experts from UPOV members. And the experience of CPVO across the European region is really vital in that respect, and they offer a great deal of contribution to the work of UPOV. We have a very important exchange of data, and that enables both the CPVO and the UPOV databases to be up to date and valuable resources for breeders and UPOV members.
I think plant production is crucial for the European Union in the coming future. We can create and contribute with incentives to the breeders to provide new varieties in order for plant production to be as efficient and healthy and to provide food for the coming generations.
The successful future of agriculture in Europe really depends on having an effective system of plant variety protection, and that means the role of the CPVO is critical.
The industry is changing, agriculture is changing in Europe, so of course the CPVO as an authority, as managing a certain part that is important for the sector, will have to change as well. It has undergone changes in the past.
So we try to explore new techniques which might be introduced into existing DOS testing procedures. The aim is also here to offer good quality tests in an efficient way for reasonable costs.
At European Union level, biodiversity, environmental issues, variety of plants, values, and those values today are preserved at office level.
It has proven that it is very useful in the system. It is fulfilling the main goals, so it's delivering on why it was basically established. Certainly in the times of potential problems with the food crisis, this is essential function, and I cannot imagine that we will be able to manage this issue at the European level without institutions like CPVO.